Well, hey there, friends. It's a little overdue for my update. I don't actually remember when I promised that I would bring it to you. It might have been Tuesday. It might have been last week. It's been that kind of a week. I think I'm still in week 1 of my experiment. Let me check the calendar. Incorrect. I'm in week 2, so definitely behind a little bit. I circled the date on my calendar so I'd remember where I was. All right, a little rambly today. Part of that is that it's been very, very hot here this week. If you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I'm in Calgary, Alberta. We have had so many days of plus 36 degrees Celsius that I can't even think straight anymore. I've been dreaming of winter the whole dang week and just mostly trying to make it through. Plus, I just finished a day of work, so my brain is like excited and I want to share with all of you, and also tired and thinking about snacks. So that's the kind of Amy you're getting today. You might also hear my chair creaking a little bit. Not quite sure how much my microphone is picking up today. So, where am I at with my experiment? My experiment of surrender, trust, and radical self-love. Well, I started reading a book by, I believe her name is Gala Darling, called Radical Self-Love. I felt like the title probably meant I was in the right area. I think I've only finished the first chapter. It's quite interesting so far. She almost lost me when she went on a bit of a tangent about how her birth name was Amy, and she thought that was a very boring name. And I was waiting in the book for her to go, but it's an okay name. It never came. So she lost me a little bit there. But I'm willing to give it to her. If she thinks it's boring, that's on her. I love my name. But yeah, she's talking a lot about her journey. I mean, it just started. So her journey and learning to love her body and getting past an eating disorder and a bunch of different things. And what's interesting to me is I always have to be careful, and I'm curious for those of you out there who have been on your own personal growth and development journey. When you pick up a book or listen to a podcast or catch a live stream or a training from somebody who is sharing growth and development concepts, if you get into that I know status, oh, I know this already, oh, I've heard this before, oh, this isn't new to me, right? Things like that. So I'm very cognizant of that, and I also know that by saying I know, I'm literally closing myself off to potential learning. So even though I've heard it before, maybe I haven't heard it in the right way before. A great example of this, my boyfriend, who I love dearly, drank a lot of coffee for years, like 2, 3, maybe 4 cups a day, a lot of coffee, and also complained of a lot of pain. And I had conversations with people and done some research and learned that coffee can cause inflammation and can cause the kind of pain that he was describing. So many times I suggested that maybe in an effort to reduce the pain that he was feeling so regularly, he drinks green tea instead of coffee. Green tea still has caffeine. My brain just went blank. It distributes it, I think is what I was trying to say, in a slower way. It's not the spike that coffee gives, but it also has a longer effect. If any of you know about green tea, you know this already. And green tea also can have some impact on pain. So I mentioned this to him, and I mentioned this to him, and I mentioned this to him, and finally decided, well, he's not interested. He's unwilling. Every time I bring it up, he has an excuse or a reason why, nope, coffee's the way he's going to go. So I let it go. And about a year later, he comes to me and he says, I was reading this interesting article that says that coffee can increase pain and green tea can actually help. So I'm going to start trying to drink some green tea. And I had the biggest facepalm moment ever of, I've been telling you this forever. But hey, thanks for not listening to me. But it's a perfect example of that, I know status of like, I've heard this before, whatever. And the minute that it comes from somewhere else, somehow it's said in a slightly different way that makes it clear. That's what I find so fascinating. So as I'm reading this book, I'm trying to keep myself from getting into the I know state and remind myself that possibly what she's writing, I will have heard all before. Maybe it's not as advanced as what I have learned or what I'm practicing right now, but maybe I might learn something new, or I might just get that little bit that will make something click and really sink in. So stay tuned on that. However, some fun things that happened this week. So I don't remember if I mentioned this in the last episode. I know I mentioned that I took the Manifestation Babe Academy. I know I mentioned that a lot of what I'm talking about is going to be referencing what I took in the Manifestation Babe Academy, or MBA, to make it short and keep me from slurring my words. One of the things that we learned was human design, which I'm very fascinated by and think I want to dive into deeper. Fun fact, little random factoid for you in the middle of my stream of consciousness. I'm a lead. I lead a team, which I think I mentioned before. And last week we had what we call an on-site. So a 2-day intensive with the leadership team. Everybody on the leadership team had something to bring, whether it was a presentation or leading a discussion. And I had the entire leadership team pull their human design charts. And then I talked about the type, strategy, authority, the signature and non-self theme, and we got a little bit into the energy centers, but didn't have time to go through the whole thing. So I'm going to book some time in the next few weeks to go deeper into it. I work in the tech industry. I literally read on a post somewhere on Instagram this last week about how personal development has no place in the tech industry. Someone was afraid to bring it up. I know I work at a fairly innovative company, so it's possible that, the people that I work with are more forward-thinking, but the entire team loved what they learned. Everybody felt very much like sort of this creepy sense of, Jesus, like this human design thing knows me so much better than it should. It's kind of creepy. That's very cool. It's also very exciting to see how everybody's been leaning into it and testing it. Two of the people on our team have what's called a sacral authority. When it comes to decision making, they are yes/no people. So I got to hear some fun stories about how they were testing it out with their partners, and trying to make decisions. So very exciting about that. But what I was getting to in my human design, as I did the presentation, it was a great reminder for me what my human design is all about and where my strategy is and what my authority is, and realizing that I'm a generator with an emotional authority. If you know human design, you know exactly what that means. But in short, what that means, if you don't know human design, is that my job is to wait to respond, meaning that I might have a download, I might have an idea that comes in, and I can have that idea, but I need something external to come to me, or see something external to come to me to give me that, like, hey, this might be the thing for you. And then I need to take it to my emotional authority, which is my decision center. And I need to go back to the decision center and go, how does this feel? Does this light me up? Does it sound good? I'm excited about this. I'm simplifying it very much, but effectively that's the process. So I realized after I did the first episode where I shared with all of you who's doing this experiment that I skipped a few steps and went, okay, cool, this might not work out quite how I thought, but I'm going to flow with it, which is why I'm not freaking out that, this episode might be 2 weeks too late or a week too late. Very different from the me a year ago who would have been beating herself up about it and putting out a stressed out episode. You're not going to get that from me this time, is my intention. But so here's a great example of when I did listen to it, that it took me a moment to realize what happened. So I started swimming. My boyfriend was swimming last year when pools and stuff were still open before we went into all the shutdowns in December. And he was loving it. And I was trying to find a way to get some more regular exercise in a way that was enjoyable. We have some exercise equipment downstairs. We have a treadmill. We have a rowing machine. We have a bike. But I liked to run, but I hated being in the basement running, staring at the laundry room wall. I didn't like it. I wasn't enjoying it anymore. And so I wasn't doing it, but then I was also feeling not good. My body needs to move. It's made to move. Exercise is so important to me. So I thought, well, I'll try out the swimming thing and see if I like it. I think I got exactly 2 swims in before everything shut down. And yeah, that was the end of that for a while. But while it was shut down, I thought, you know what, I like this enough that I think I'm going to see if I can get myself a one-piece swimsuit, which for a person who is tall like me, not easy. Women's swimsuits are not made for tall people. So usually I've been in bikinis since I was probably 12. But I find the swimsuit, I get a swim cap because I have long hair, gets in the way in the pool. So I thought, perfect, I don't want swim goggles. I just want to take these 2 things and let's just see how it goes. So fast forward 6-ish months, and the pools are open. I'm getting back into it. I'm still seeing, do I like this enough? Is this enjoyable to me? Is it something that I want to keep doing? I started doing it with a friend. My friend is moving, so now she's not coming with me. And I thought, okay, well, this will be a real test to see if I like it. So I'm in the pool one day, probably my 3rd day out, and I'm enjoying it. I'm also getting water in my eyes a lot, which is driving me a little bit crazy. It's lane swimming, so there are people around, so that, if someone's what I might call a thrashing swimmer, there's going to be more splash around them. So I'm swimming my lane, and I had this thought of, it might be time to get goggles. Don't know if I like them, but I really don't like getting splashed in the eyes, and I bet it's probably going to be more enjoyable for me if I swim and I get some goggles. So there's the initial part, right? That's come into my brain. It's dropped in and said, hey, what do you think about this? Then I finish the end. I get to the end and I stop to take a breath. And I'm swimming in the medium pace lane because I'm by no means yet fast enough to be in the fast lane. Although, fun fact, I did find myself in the fast lane by oopsie one day. That I was very tired at the end of that day trying to keep up with everybody. But the fast lane was to my right. And a person in the fast lane had also stopped or was at the end when I got there and asked me if I forgot my goggles that day. And I said, I actually don't have goggles. I only started swimming and I wanted to see if I liked it enough to get the gear. And he said to me, if you're freestyle swimming, you're going to like it a whole lot better with goggles. And I went, you're probably right. I think I probably should go get some. And never thought about it again. Finished the rest of the laps that I wanted to swim, showered, dressed, was on my way to the car in the melting heat. It was 36 degrees, I think, as well that day. And suddenly realized on my way to the car what just happened. I just went through the whole decision-making process of my human design. I had the initial thing that dropped into my mind. I waited on it. I got an external input for me and then responded to that external input, and as I was leaving realized, yeah, getting goggles feels good to me. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. This sounds like a small thing, and it is a small thing, but it's also a huge thing because it's very cool to recognize the pattern and see how it's actually working in action. As I see it happen on small things, now I'm building confidence and having it happen in big things. So I can't say that signing up for MBA followed the pattern. I don't remember exactly what happened. I just remembered that the moment that I heard about the course in December and the fact that it was becoming a combination of the 2 courses that she had at the time, I had this innate knowing that I would be signing up. And I never questioned it. When the course opened in February, I signed up. The minute that it opened, like first 6 o'clock in the morning, my eyes sprung open. I'm like, today's the day. I'm going to see if I can, if the cart's open, I'm going to sign up. And I paid in full with no worries, which I have, honest to goodness, never in my life ever done. And I never ever looked back and went, holy shit, what the fuck was I thinking? right? It was, with the conversion, a $3,000 investment for me. It's definitely not in a place to just be dropping $3,000 like that. But I had absolutely no fear, no worry, and no regret afterwards. I just knew that was where I was supposed to be. And I knew that that was the way to sign up. It was a very cool thing. So part of my experiment of this trust, surrender, and radical self-love is learning to recognize the higher version of me and practicing embodying that version of me. In our MBA course, she teaches us to, as part of her manifestation process, you're really embodying it, which a lot of manifestation coaches and teachers will tell you about. And she also has us name this version of us. And so she shared what her name was, and I, when I was at that point in the module, I wrote it a few different names and kind of went, what feels good to me? And the one that stood out to me is MB Amy. So when I think about the embodied version of me, whoever this person is that becomes, that I'm in the process of becoming, that has the reality that I'm in the process of creating. When I think of her, to me, she's MB Amy. And the process of embodying was something that I wasn't super clear on. I'm like, okay, so let's embody this person. What does that look like? Do I walk differently? Do I talk differently? Do I think differently? Like, what do I do here? I don't quite understand what embodying means to me. Am I faking it? Is this one of those like fake it till you make it kind of a things? Like, that doesn't really feel in alignment with me. How do I do this thing? Then I had the moment last week Sunday. I drive a Subaru Impreza WRX, which I super love. Some of you might have heard me talk about it before. It's a performance car. It doesn't look like a performance car. It's a hatchback, which makes it super handy. I can park it anywhere. I love driving it. Absolutely effing love my car. Last summer, I had to rebuild the engine. I feel like I just heard somebody go, oof, because it is an oof. It was a very big expense. And I made a decision out of fear at the time. I had a sense that I should take it. I just brought it to the shop that I got the oil changed at. It was nearest to me. So I took it there. They told me that I needed the engine rebuild. I had a thought that I should take it to a performance shop. It's a performance car, and Subaru engines are not the same as most other engines out there. So you need to know what you're doing if you're actually going to rebuild a Subaru engine. But this is going to make you laugh. I was afraid. I did not want to pay $100 to have the car towed across the city. I paid $15,000 to rebuild my car. $100 is nothing. But that's where my brain was at. I was at this place of making decisions out of lack and out of fear. Now, I did make the decision to rebuild the engine, and it definitely threw a wrench in like the plans that I had financially last year. But what I'm getting to, the car has had consistent issues. Now, it took 3.5 months to get my car back. That's already a problem. And since then, so you're probably wondering how the hell did it come to be that much? If you know anything about cars, you're probably thinking that. So it was an engine rebuild, got my clutch replaced, got my timing belt replaced, got my turbo rebuilt, bunch of other things. I can't remember all the things that have been done to it now. But it keeps throwing an error every now and again, and it's definitely not running as it should. So I'm annoyed. I've started telling people who've asked about my car, I said I basically have a very fancy looking Ford Fiesta because it doesn't perform like it's supposed to. I can't push it. I can't do fun things like I used to. And the slightest, it doesn't like being in it doesn't like being in an idle. It doesn't like being in a low gear. It's very sensitive right now, and it basically has no power, which is ridiculous for a car like this one. It should have lots. So last Sunday, I'm out at the lake with my boyfriend's family, and my car throws an error again. And it's been doing the same error for months. And I would take it to the shop, and they'd clear it. They'd tell me it's probably this thing. Keep driving it, see how it goes. I finally had enough, probably about a month ago, and said, the next time it does this, I'm bringing it to the performance shop. Well, the next time I did it, I didn't bring it to the performance shop. I brought it back to the shop. And then when I did it this past Sunday, I went, this is a moment for me to embody MB Amy. How would MB Amy approach this current situation? And the answer was so ridiculously clear. MB Amy would not make a choice out of lack or out of fear. She would not take it back to the shop that she brought it to before, because obviously what they're doing isn't working. She would take it to the performance shop, and she wouldn't be freaking the fuck out the whole way there about what it's going to cost. She would just know that that is the best and most aligned decision for her reality. So I booked an appointment at the performance shop. Silly me, I thought that I would be able to get in to see them right away. I'm sure the guy laughed a little when I asked him that, and he said, we're booking 2 weeks out. But I do have an appointment for my car. It's upcoming in a few weeks. And my intention is that it's gonna be fixed. That I'm gonna have the car that I should have, which is a performance car, which is super fucking fun to drive. That can handle all kinds of things. Like I can't even do an aggressive pass on the highway right now because it would throw an error and potentially cause issues with the engine. That's how not good it is. So it's actually less than a Ford Fiesta, because at least a Fiesta you can like put the pedal down. Anyway, so these are just some of the things that I'm working on right now. The trust and surrender part, I haven't actively leaned into, but it's just part of the natural process that I'm expecting is going to come along. So there you have it. There's a little update on where I'm at. A little bit of fun stories for you. Thank you for listening to me if you've managed to stay with me the whole time. This is what I think the podcast is going to look like for the next little while. I want to share with you. I want to communicate with you. And you're going to get me unvarnished without all the fancy side effects like I mentioned last week. We're not doing anything super fancy. The fanciest thing that I did today is that I actually plugged in a microphone because I thought, I bet just by using the headphones on the phone, it may not be the best sound quality. So I hope this is a little bit better for you and hopefully enjoyable to listen to. Anyway, if you're interested, you can check me out on Instagram. Follow me at I Dare to Begin. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're liking the podcast, if you're like, Amy, that fucking sucked, don't send me any more. Cool. You can unsubscribe now. But if you're interested in it or you liked it, share it out. If you're, I'd just love to hear from you. It'd be cool to know who's listening and what's up with all of you. I am noodling on a business idea, and Instagram will be where I share it. So if you're interested in it or curious at all about what it's going to be, I'm staying pretty close to the chest right now about it, but stay tuned. I'll be posting about it on Instagram. So I wish you an amazing day, an amazing week and month ahead. It is currently Canada Day, so happy Canada Day to my fellow Canadians. And very soon it will be Independence Day for my southern neighbors. So happy Independence Day to you if you are south of our border. And I wish you, just all the good things in your life. Talk to you soon. Bye.